Hello guys, welcome to our new lecture. In this video, in this tutorial, we are going to learn some basic event handling in React.js. And we will see basically what are events in React and what are event handlers and what is event handling and all that. Let me create this test component and create this uh, snippet, and let's stitch that test component in our main component, and let's run it, make sure everything is working fine. And there is this error, test is not defined because I guess the auto import did not work properly. Yeah, okay, it is now there. And let's go to Chrome. And yeah, so we have test over here. Now, let's just, first of all, we have already seen a very basic event handling of on click on a button. Let's start from there only. Okay. So we have an on-click event, and inside it, this is our event handler. So what I am saying here is on-click is an event, handler. Event handler is basically none other than but a function. So basically, we are saying that whenever this event is fired, run this function. So that's why run this function. That's why this is called a handler that handles the event. So this is event handler, and event is just a function and nothing else. So for example, we commonly write console.log button clicked. Okay. So that's the very basic example. That's just sort of formatting, and let's go over here. And you see, we have when we click on it, it should be showing. Let me zoom it. Let me zoom it as well, so that mobile users can see it clearly, because a lot of users watch the tutorials on mobile screens. So yeah, button click is visible over here. Let me zoom this code as well. Okay, button clicked, and now this is the example, the minimal example of an on-click event handler. Now, what I want, let me go through it. Braces are optional. We only one line in function. So now I want to tell. Let's discuss about this bracket part. So these brackets are optional. Okay, if I save over it. So yeah. So basically, the brackets over here. If I save it, this will reformat it. But so yeah, I'm not saving it because I have prettier extension. So which basically formats this code. If you haven't seen my video on prettier, you can watch my video on VS Code extensions and Chrome extensions. It's I guess in the first 5 lectures, so you can watch that video. So yeah, so these brackets are optional if you only have one statement. You don't need to put the brackets over here. Okay, and it will work fine. Okay, if you have multiple lines, if you want to have multiple lines, then you need these brackets. Okay. Okay, I have added 3 brackets. Second one. Okay. Now we need these brackets. Otherwise, it will not work. Yeah, let's click button click second log button click second log. And if you cannot just remove these brackets now, it will give an error. Okay. It says bracket expected. It has to. It's saying that bracket expected. You should not add something over here. It should end over here. So okay. So let me undo that. So these brackets are important if there are more than one statement. Otherwise, it is okay. Now, let's just remove it and keep it as it is, and let's move to our second test, where we are going to use external event handler. Okay, and we can call it like, we can create a button over here. In this function, what we are going to do is, we are not going to write a function over here. We are going to pass reference to a function which is defined separately. Okay, like this. we are referencing, we are giving a reference of this function. So yeah, what's happening here is instead of doing arrow function over here, we are passing, we can pass reference of a function. Okay. All right. So it's doing console.log over here. Now let's add this component in our app component. We'll call it second test. Yeah, so then for it, we can comment that first one as well. Now you see it's logging. It's logging. So yeah, it's basically that's ironic. So it's printing console logging the logging that we do. Okay, yeah. So now and now we have second test. So we saw that we can attach an event handler like that as well. But there is one more thing to remember. Note that common mistake people make, like they will start putting these brackets over here at the end. Okay, this is not correct. You do not put brackets over here. You just need to pass the reference. You are not, if you put these brackets, this function will be called directly. We don't want that. We just need to pass the reference. Okay. So this is the correct way of passing a function. But then you might think, what happens? What if in this case it is fine, but what if we want to pass something over here, 12 or anything of this or 2. So what will happen? Or if we write like this, though then it will be called again. So what's the solution over here? So we will figure that out. We will create this RAFCE component again. And here we will create this button again, click 3. And instead of third test, we can write passing values to event handler, and we can make it to event handler function instead of inline function. Okay, so this is not, sorry, this is the inline function. This should not come here. This is the example of inline function as event handler as inline function. Okay, and this is the example of event handler as external function instead of inline function. So here we are not using an inline function. Inline function is something where we define the function just right inside over here. Just like here, we are defining the function body over here. We do not have any other function, but in this case, we are not defining the body over here. We're just using that function name. The body is separate. So that's why we don't call it an inline function. And in that case, if we want to pass some, for example, if we have for example, controller block that takes some input. Okay? Then in that case, we need to we need to if we want to pass this variable, then what we are going to do? So we cannot just write like this, add counter 5, for example. We cannot simply write like this. It will be invoked directly, but you don't want that. Instead, what we will do is we will write an arrow function, just a function over here, and here we will call our function. This will not be invoked immediately. This is again a function body. It's an arrow function body. Now this is correct. Okay. So if I put it over here, I can give you wrong. This will be wrong if you do it like this. Okay. This one is wrong, but this one is correct. This method is correct of passing an event handler. If you want to pass some argument in the event handler, you will do it like this, 555. Now let's have we stitched it with our app. We haven't stitched this component. We can do it now. Third test, and Yep, let's see. And then if you click on it, so it's saying login 555. Okay. You might think that that is not a correct, that's not the use case because you can directly write 5 over here. But in case if our value is coming from our stat state, then in that scenario, this will be useful. Okay. You can say in that case, we are going to pass um, data plus 2. And in that case, we have add 2 button over here. So for example, now we can do data plus, well, whatever it is. Now we have 0 first, but when you add 2, it's 2, it's 6, it's 14. Now what's the problem over here? Let me see. It's doing data plus val. No. I don't want to do that. I just want to do val. So I'm doing it plus 2. I'm just saying whatever the value is, just add 2 in it. Okay, let's refresh. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's fine. It's adding 2 over here. But now what if we want to create another function which is add 3? We can just make use of this function and we can pass a 3 over here. Now if I add 3 in it, so it's 19. If I add 2 in it, it's 21. And if I add 3, it's 24. 27, and this is 22, add 2 and add 3. So this is no, now you know that why this is powerful, why you need to know this method, because you can pass a dynamic data over here and you can make a separate function which can be reused for different cases. So yeah, let's move ahead. Let's see if we have any other example. We don't invoke the function. Invoke means calling the function. We do not call the function. This is okay as well since we're not invoking function and everything. And yeah, I told you this is same as this. Okay, these both are same, equivalent. If you need to pass the arguments, oh, let me show it in the preview mode. Sorry. Yeah, this is better. If you need to pass the argument, we have to write arrow function in event handler. If you need to pass the arguments, then you need to write the arrow function in the event handler. So yeah, like this. We saw this example, increment 2, increment counter 3. Now here we have E is passed. Now we can talk about, we learned about onClick. Now we can talk about onChange and onSubmit and E as well. So yeah, let's try. Let's start. We will first learn about onChange. As what? Let me make it capital. Because it's not the actual event handler. I can rename it whatever I want. So yeah, let's use this. Let's save it. And onChange handler is usually used with input field. Let me put it and in input. It will just render an input field. And let me use it over here as well. Mm. onChange. That's oh no. So basically, it was not. What's the issue over here? Oh, yeah. I have to fix the. It has the case. The uppercase has to be uppercase. So yeah. Now we have on change test, and still it's giving this error on already included file name. Okay, that's interesting. Let me delete this. Let me delete it. Test change. RFC. That's it. And now add it over here. Remove it. Remove it. Yeah, and it's auto imported now. That's fine. Now let's check. Yeah, it is printed. Let's reload. Okay. Now let's go into this component and let's create a basic input field over here, and also change the heading to be onChange handler. And yeah, there you see this field. So, and we can write some placeholder, enter some text. Okay, this is a placeholder. This is just a pure HTML syntax so far, nothing new. And now here we can write onChange handler. Let's do it quickly. onChange equal to console.log I am changing. Okay. Now if I write something, you see this is fired. This event is fired. This event is called or this event is fired means the same thing. Let me try adding another character. So yeah, you see this is again printed. Now that and now as I keep on pressing any character, this I am changing is will get logged on our console. So this is it. But there is now one more thing. There is by default an argument which is e, and you can which basically is used to get the value whatever we type in the field using e.target.value. Okay, so now if I write a, you see now you see it is giving me the value whatever I'm keep on writing here. And e dot what is e dot target? You see e dot target basically is pointing to this field. If I do e dot target dot placeholder, it will give me this placeholder as well. So if I reload it first, so it's clean. Uh, E EST. So you see, this is I am changing and enter some text, it's getting printed again and again because this is this zero target points to this input field. Okay. So and this is E, this is by default present in on change handler. And then similarly, there is this on submit event handler as well, which is used for forms. So yeah, let me see again the example. So yeah, e dot value, e dot target, and we can have uh, and on submit handler as well. So yeah, similarly, you can see you have you can pass well. You see about the control components and uncontrolled components. You can see my video on that. You will see if you passed well, then you have to set well in the on chain as well. So yeah, using this example, you can see over here. You have if you use well, then you have to use set well, and you can do e dot target dot value. Okay, this will change its value. So let's try that quickly. To do well, comma set well, it's empty. Oh, this is not the correct file. This is our on change. Paste it over here. And if I put well over here, it has to be value. Now, if I write anything over here, so you see this is getting logged. If I write a, so you see it is getting logged text is here, but the value is not appearing over here because now it is a control component. We control its value. So we have to pass a set well as well. And now we have to change the value by using e targeted value. Now, if I write a, it's getting a over here. Now, as D, F, now it's getting updated every time. So yeah, so that's how you make a control component. Now let's try that on submit component. So here you need to create a form where you can have an on submit event handler. We will define its body over here shortly, and we can have an input field. And here we can have a button, which is basically its type is going to be submit. Now it knows that it's going to be submitted. Now let's add this in our app.js. We can comment it and we can add our on submit event handler. And yeah, this button is not even does not have any, it's very tiny because we didn't add any text inside it. So yeah, now we have this button. So yeah, it's getting, you see now the default behavior is, you see over here, if I click on it, it's getting reloaded. You see X over here, if I click on it, it's getting reloaded. So yeah, So let me show you. This is not how React works. Usually we do not want to reload our application. So I'll show you how do we prevent it. First, let's see. I'll do it. And now if I submit on it, you see there is something logging over and it's going away. If you want to preserve it, keep it on your console, you can select this preserve log option. Now you click on it. You see it's getting submitting written over here again and again. Okay. Second time and third time. So yeah, I keep that check on. And now what if I want to do is I want to stop this reloading, this cross. Now you see there is this again an e object available over here, and now you can do e dot prevent default. This is just the normal HTML. If you have worked with forms in HTML, you will know it about already. You should know it about it already. Now if I do submit, now you see there is no reloading, but submitting is getting printed over here. So yeah, so that's about it. This is how you can use E in when you have a form, or basically the onSubmit event handler as well. So yeah, so that's the idea of the E object, the event object, which you will be working a lot. So this is this example that you can use as well. Now, common problem if using short form, do not invoke the function, just pass the reference that function and you don't write bracket at the end. So I guess we are talking about this over here. This is wrong. This is correct. So yeah, I guess that was about it. That was about this video so far. I hope you learned something in this video. And if you do, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And also, we have a Discord community. You can join that. You can ask your question and learn with the like-minded people together. I'll see you in the next video.